Welcome to Web3 podcast. Let's talk. This is your host Mohammad Afan. Today we're doing a special show regarding Web3, and for that particular show, we have called in Web3 startup founder, Miss Batool Aamir. Batool, how are you?
Thank you, Afan, for having me. I'm good. How are you?
Fine. So Batool, before we go on further, let's introduce yourself, right, so that the audience know who you are.
Sure. So, on the business side, I am the founder of a Web3 blockchain startup Oval, which is where we deal with B2B clients to help them navigate the uncharted territories of Web3, NFTs, and Metaverse.
All right. So before we move on, let's you talked about Web3, blockchain, and let's discuss. And we talked about Web3 in general.
Yeah.
So let's discuss the differentiation between what is Web 2.0 and what's Web 3.0 for someone who doesn't know anything about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you most people would answer that in terms of Web 1 versus Web 2 versus Web 3.
What is Web 1 वैसे?
Web 1 is basically read only, which was search engines. So in simple definitions, it's Web 1 was a read only where you could only view certain information on search engines. Web 2 was social media, and then Web 3 is read plus write plus own, which is decentralized apps. But to explain it in a simple way, since the audience might be students or graduates, I like to think of it as Web 2 and Web 3 as job versus startup. Web 2 is starting after university, starting a job, and Web 3 is starting your own startup after university. So
it's not. It doesn't need to have to be after university.
Yeah, you can.
But
do it.
It's something different.
Yeah, you can do it whenever. But when we talk about having a job, you have a certain rules that you have to follow. You have a design, specific tasks that you have to do, and there is someone who is working above your position who can tell you what to do, who is in charge of it. So that's a centralized authority, and which is similar in Web 2 apps like social media, which is let's take an example of Instagram. We have certain rules by which we have to use Instagram. There are community guidelines. If you use it for 5 to 10 years, you can build an audience, you can even monetize it, but you do not still own that platform. So that's what Web 2 is, that you can interact but you cannot own it. So in Web 3, in case of starting a startup, you have the authority, you have to build your own structure, and it's you have the choice, the autonomy, and the freedom. So that's what Web 3 is but there's also, it's more difficult to build an audience there. So that's what the difference between Web 2 and Web 3 is, that in Web 3 you are the owner of the thing, but there are certain pros and cons in both, just in a job versus startup debate.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's we talked about Web 3 and Web 2, and then the difference between centralized and decentralized, and but let's talk about the decentralization and the point of blockchain that comes in.
Yeah.
Can you tell the audience what is blockchain and how does it work?
Yeah, so blockchain technology is it helps you to verify something, an NFT. If it's on blockchain, so blockchain technology can help you verify that you own it, and also it helps to figure out that who was the original creator of it, then which this NFT was sold to this person, and then it was resold to another person. So blockchain technology is a public ledger, which helps in verification of ownership, basically. Right. Yeah.
So the buzzword right now is cryptocurrencies, right? And so what do you think? How does cryptocurrencies actually work with the use of blockchain technology? And why do you think? And do you think it's an investable asset, that class that we should invest?
So if we talk about cryptocurrency, I would just briefly touch upon fungibility, which is the ability of an asset to be exchanged for something similar. So there are two kinds of tokens, one is non-fungible and one is fungible. So in non-fungible tokens, it is something that cannot be exchanged for something similar, so NFTs. And fungible tokens are something that can be exchanged for something similar, which can be currency and cryptocurrencies. So in cryptocurrency, the thing is that they are fungible because every token is similar to another. And coming back to your question, that is it a wise investment or not? I do not consider as an investment at all, because like I think that the underlying technology,
is just a commodity to have.
like the underlying technology is far more important than just the point of investment, because it's a very speculative asset in like financial sense, and its price moves so rapidly that it's very like speculative in terms of an investment.
Right, so it's highly volatile in that particular point. So, and to the audience who's watching right now, if you consider investment in crypto, and if you consider at the Pakistan Stock Exchange, in Pakistan Stock Exchange, the stock price cannot move 7.5% or less than 7.5%, right? So basically, if it goes up, it could only go 7.5% in a day. And if it goes down, it could only go down 7.5% in a day, right? So there's triggers in that particular point, and when you see crypto, there are no triggers, and it could go 100% as well.
So like the thing is that you have to do your own research and rather understand the underlying technology, so that you can like use it in a good way rather than just for like making a quick buck.
Right, so let's talk about NFTs. That's your specialty, right? So yeah, those people who don't know what NFTs are, can you please tell us what is an NFT, how does it work, and what you're doing with it?
Yeah, so NFTs, like we talked about fungibility, so like NFTs stand for non-fungible tokens, so which means that they are unique and they are one of a kind. They can't be exchanged for something with a similar value. So NFTs are like best understood as unique digital assets that are on blockchain, and like blockchain technology helps you verify that who owns it, and you can show it to others through that. So NFTs can be like in any form, like your CNIC can be an NFT from Nazra, like your ownership documents, because they need verification of ownership, and even your university degrees, they can be an NFT. So it's not just limited to art. And it's like
most commonly you see art, right?
Yeah, it's most commonly seen as art, but like the more useful use cases can be things that are actually beneficial for people, like these things like ownership documents and stuff like that. And even like tickets can be NFTs, so that you can like check that okay, this person has this ticket. And so yeah, that's what NFTs is. And any person who uses it for just flipping it is not a good idea, I think. Yeah, that's
right. So how does NFT trading works?
So NFT trading works in a way that that like people who are doing it, they like buy an NFT thinking that the prices will go up, and they like would be able to make a quick buck. But that's not advisable. You should do your due research on it, and you should rather focus on the underlying technology that it offers, and rather you should be innovative about it, and also do not launch NFT collections like which are very similar to one another, just copying others' collections which are popular. So yeah.
How do they create the art? Is it on Photoshop you can do it?
Yeah, it's digital art. People who can make digital art are like the artists.
Okay, then. Achha, let's talk about Oval. You founded Oval. What is Oval? How does it work? And what was the reason of founding Oval?
Yeah, so like back in 2020, when like COVID was at its peak and everyone was locked in their four walls of their homes, so that's when I like decided. That's when I started experimenting different business ideas, and I explored a lot of ideas and programs which like made me understand a lot of different entrepreneurial concepts that I wasn't aware of. And so like after doing like a lot of exploration, I finally stumbled upon Web3, which led me to start my own startup, Oval, which was like back then was a small venture. Now it's a whole team, and that's how I started.
How many people do you have?
11 right now.
11?
Yeah. But now like
all of them would be older than you, I guess.
Yeah, some of them are, yeah.
Okay, they're younger than you as well.
No, like my age as well. Yeah.
Problem.
So yeah, so at Oval we have like a long-term vision, and our focus is to like to bring innovation and also to help clients navigate the uncharted territories of Web3, NFTs and Metaverse. So yeah.
Right. So, we recently you won the awards at the Allied Bank competition as well as in UBL. So let's talk about that. How is that going to help you with your journey with Oval, and how's the money is going to help you with building more teams and building more. So how's it going to work?
Yeah, so that was great. We just won the UBL Build by Her competition and Allied Bank FinTech Hackathon, and yeah, it would definitely help us in getting in touch with more people, and also working with banks and like financial institutions who are like looking to work in the metaverse sector or in Web3. So yeah, we have a couple of things in the pipeline, and we are working on stuff.
Right, right. So let's talk about the challenges that Oval is facing. What do you think the number one challenges that Oval faces in order to expand to a nationwide company?
Yeah. So I think the biggest challenge right now is that brands and businesses who are looking to get into Web3, and if their projects don't work out, they would strike the whole Web3 space. They would say that the whole Web3 space is not the right thing to do.
Has it happened to you?
No, it hasn't, but like I've seen like the brands and businesses who are like coming up with their projects or stuff. If their project doesn't work, they would think that okay, the whole Web3 is a scam or so. Although it's not the case, because like if you say that Instagram ads didn't work for me, it doesn't mean that it won't work or it's not something useful. If you couldn't use it, it means that you couldn't leverage it in the right or correct way. So that's I think a challenge that people need to understand, that you need to do it in the right way, and not just shun the whole thing that it's not the right thing to do.
Right. So, yeah, Acha, so Batool, let's talk about further. Let's go down to the blockchain role. How do you think blockchain will have an impact globally in the whole financial space? Yeah, how things will change? How the banks traditionally work. How with blockchain going to change that?
So I think blockchain is a catalyst that will most probably be like revolutionize the whole financial sector and the fintech and the payment sector, and it will definitely be a huge step when we like start taking things forward. And also in recent times I saw that State Bank has also given directions to commercial banks to start exploring blockchain technology, which I think is like a huge step towards towards Web3. And yeah, blockchain can be like implemented in so many sectors if we see in like numerous industries.
Right. So, before we move on to our last segment, we have some rapid fire questions that we wanted to ask you, and let's see, what's your whatever comes to your head when we say that particular word. So let's start with that. Okay.
Okay. So I have to say one word.
Yeah, I'll say one word. You have to say one word. What comes to mind when you? Okay. Yeah, right. Okay then. Blockchain.
Innovation.
Sharia compliance.
I can't think of anything.
Is NFT Sharia compliant?
Like I don't know.
Acha, NFT.
NFTs, numerous use cases.
Cryptocurrencies.
Not a wise investment.
Acha. And financial literacy.
Very important.
Okay. IB today.
Great. You guys are doing great work, by the way.
Right. So moving on, let's discuss the recently crypto has let's talk about blockchain, and crypto is the biggest use case right now using in blockchain, and crypto exchange firm FTX just recently got bankrupt. What's your take on that when you see these kind of people who you are working in Web3 and you see these companies worth billions of dollars just go down under? What do you think about that, and what do you say when people ask you, okay, it's all a sham?
Yeah, so I think that was quite inevitable, but yeah,
Why do you think
I'm
it's inevitable?
yeah, I'll tell you, like a year ago I made a video on LinkedIn which was, the title was 99% of NFTs will fail, and everyone was confused that like you are saying that you have a startup which says Oval and which deals with Web3, and you're saying that why. That's because, like, if we see it right now, like most NFT collections are not working out because they are like focusing on short term things. So that's the thing that you need to be so like long. You have to be you have to think about the long term vision. And also that I'm glad that in Pakistan FTX was not very common, I would say, because if it was in Pakistan, the regulators would have said that, oh, we have to ban the whole Web3 space, and they are just a bunch of scammers, and just like they did to YouTube for like so long. So I think that in so that we need to like be aware of the fact that we should not promote scammers in this space. And I've seen that a lot of people don't do their due research. They a lot of national television hosts and even like big conference organizers are inviting people who are like scammers in this space, and they are not doing their due research of the work that they're doing. So which is why like these people would be able to get more approval from the public audience. So we need to be aware that we should do our due research on who the person is working in the space and what they're doing, and like if they are not just copying things, if they are the right people. So yeah.
Right. So, Batul, coming towards the end of the show, I just wanted to ask you, okay, if people want to work with Batul and want to work with Oval, how can they work with them, and how companies can work with you, and what capacity are you guys working so that we can invest and work with you? With how's that going to happen?
Yeah, so we are working with different brands and businesses right now with who want to like work in the Web3 space, which can be through NFTs or Metaverse or even blockchain. So yeah, if anyone wants to work in that in that sector, they should reach out to us.
Right. Just in the when you mentioned metaverse, we didn't got to the metaverse part. Can you describe what the metaverse is for the people who don't know or understand what metaverse is?
Yeah, so
And how the NFTs are playing that role there.
yeah, so metaverse was like essentially a term which was coined by a novelist back in the 20th century. But now, if we look at it, it's more of a immersive virtual experience which can be used by brands, businesses, and anyone. And if we see like 10-20 years ago how things were going on, and if we compare it to now, it has completely changed how we can order food, how we can order a cab, how we can shop online. Similarly, metaverse will bring about a paradigm shift which will make things easier for businesses, for brands, which would make things easier for even for people to interact, for people to use financial services, and also interact with larger communities of people.
Right. So thank you, Batul. And it was a pleasure having you on the show. It's a great insight that you've shared with us and our audience as well. I hope all of those who's watching the episode, they liked the episode and they learned a lot today with Batul. And hope you like the episode. Do let us know if you want to ask more questions with Batul. We'll definitely ask her as well, and we can add it in the comment box as well. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.